Hello and welcome to Retirement Today. My name is Jenna Cairns, founder and financial advisor at Beacon Wealth Advisory, and we're here to help get you to and through retirement with financial peace of mind. If you'd like to listen to this podcast again or any of our past ones, you can find and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. You can also view us on YouTube. We invite you to go out to YouTube and in the search engine, type in Beacon Wealth Advisory, and you can hit subscribe, and then you'll be notified every time we have a new video out. Also, if you have questions about the show today, or you'd like to schedule a complimentary consultation, you can give our office a call anytime to schedule the consultation, which is complimentary again. And our phone number is 1-800-994-8993. Again, that's 1-800-994-8993. Well, before we get going, I am going to bring on my dear friend, Jaclyn Gladhill. She is the co-host this week and every week. So, Jaclyn, how are we doing today? I like your shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm doing good. I think we had a huge blizzard last night. So I don't know if you guys got any snow, but we went from 50 degrees to 30 and we have like 4 or 5 inches of snow
Oh
in one night.
my. Oh
So,
my. Wow.
yes, it's a winter wonderland here, but it's okay. We're just, making up for the 50-degree weather that we had, right?
Yeah. Wow,
Um,
that's a big change. I bet it's pretty though. Is
it
it is
is.
it beautiful out?
Yes, it is a very pretty snow, and it's perfect for
Okay.
snowman, for
Yeah.
building a snowman or forts or even snowball fights. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing your girls would love that.
Yes, yes. I used to live in Minnesota actually when I went to college. I went to Augsburg College. And I remember, you would think the people from Minnesota would be comfortable driving in that snow. But I remember some people really have a challenge with it. Do you still find that up there that people
Oh,
don't always
yes.
know how to drive in the snow?
Oh, yes, and I think that, in Minnesota specifically, there's just polar opposites, and
Okay.
that's what creates these issues is because there's people that are like, "I'm gonna go slow, I'm super, super cautious, I'm scared," and then you got the
Yeah,
people that are like, "This is nothing, we get this all the time, speed it
right.
up," so then you got people that are going just 20 miles per hour difference in a couple lanes, right?
That's funny. Oh my gosh.
But Jenna, how
Probably.
was your
Oh,
Valentine's Day?
Oh, it was really nice. Yeah, we had a good time. Had a nice dinner with some live music, great food. I did get some chocolates. How about you? Did you get
Yes.
anything?
Yes, I got flowers and chocolates, which is,
Yes.
the best that you can get. I think that, what else could we ask for, right?
Oh, I know. All we need to do is throw some more diamonds in there, right? And then we'd be good to go, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Well,
Anyway,
good. I'm really glad that you had a great Valentine's Day, and, I'm
thank
excited
you.
about this conversation. We're still on our little series here.
Yes.
So today, looks kind of technical on paper, life insurance and estate
Yep.
planning, but in reality, it's pretty deeply human.
It is. It is. And if you can get over the word life insurance, it can be a great strategy because life insurance obviously goes tax free to your family. But I have to tell you a funny story before we get started, Jaclyn, about life
Yeah.
insurance. I was on a plane coming back actually from one of the gradient training events with other advisors. And I was exhausted. I was just like, okay, I want to get on the plane, take a nap, just come
Mhm.
home, relax. And I sat next to this lady who was just super chatty, nicest gal. But, sometimes you don't always want to talk on the plane, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yes.
And so I kind of thought about it. And, she was chit chatting with me. And, I do financial advising and, the whole holistic planning. But she said, well, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I'm a financial advisor and we do a lot of life insurance. And Jaclyn, she didn't talk to me the rest of the plane trip. Not a peep. Not a peep. And I think it's because I said the word life insurance, because it was like, oh, what's she going to sell me,
Yes.
Because I think
Oh,
people have like a vision in their mind of like the salesperson with a briefcase walking around, selling life insurance. But anyway, if you could get over that word, it can be very strategic in the enhanced planning process,
yeah.
right?
So you're telling me, Jenna, that whenever I don't want to talk to somebody, I just can talk about life insurance.
Exactly. So, I do a lot of podcasts about life insurance, and you will not hear a peep from them. They will
I love that.
literally be like, oh my gosh, I have something to do.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for the heads up on that one.
You bet, you bet. Anyway,
Yes.
but no, we're really going to be diving deep into that today. Yes, strategic life insurance planning does sound technical, but it's really about the people we serve. We're not just managing portfolios, we're managing identity, family dynamics, unspoken expectations, and sometimes decades of sacrifice. And with enhanced planning, life insurance often comes into play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, the other thing too is love. We're again in the month
Right.
of love, right?
Yes,
So,
Valentine's Day.
I mean, this is kind of expressed through structure of life insurance.
Yes, yes. And all of this that we're talking about is a beautiful, quiet kind of love that, if done properly, excuse me, can make just such a big difference in your family. And life insurance strategies are pretty sophisticated, but the motivation is almost always emotional.
Mhm.
So I want to tell you, Jaclyn, about a lady I worked with, very inspiring woman. We'll call her Victoria. She built her company from a folding table in her garage into a $60 million enterprise. And this is really interesting because when she had gotten divorced, her ex-husband told her, well, you'll never make it without me. And
Mhm.
so she was like bound and determined to do very well and provide for herself, but also leave a legacy to their two sons. So she had two sons. One had worked beside her for 15 years in the business. The other one was a brilliant surgeon in another state. And she sat in my office and said, Jenna, I can't split the company. It would suffocate it. But how do I split my love evenly? And that
Mm.
sentence really stayed with me. And I thought about it, really worked with my team to figure out how could we help this lady. So we worked with an attorney and designed an irrevocable life insurance trust that would provide her non-operating son, the one that was not interested in the business,
Mhm.
with a tax-free death benefit equal to the projected business value. So the policy created liquidity outside of her estate for when
Mhm.
she passed away. And when she saw the full picture, the one son who could steward her company and the other would receive really equivalent wealth. And when she saw that on paper, she cried. She really did. She cried. Not because of tax savings or tax free money going to her kids, but she finally felt peace.
Mhm.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really powerful, Jenna. And she wasn't just trying to be fair on paper, I mean, she was trying to be fair in her heart. And I
Yeah.
think, money and emotions and love, they all just intertwine, right? And so,
Yes.
you think and you believe that giving your sons or, anybody of your family money, that that's a gift, and it is, but it needs to be remembered that it's money and not your love. You do have to separate
Yes.
that sometimes.
It is hard to separate that. You're right. So she really was trying to be fair in her heart. And the beautiful thing is, this life insurance strategy gave her a way to separate ownership from affection because they really
Mhm.
would get pretty equal inheritances, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Jenna, that's a great story. And in fact, I know that you have one more up your belt. So, you've also worked with many widows post this liquidity event. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah, we've got a couple stories here, but one client, we'll call her Maryanne for privacy purposes, sold her husband's private equity stake after he passed, and suddenly she had a net worth of 40 million.
Who?
I know. From the outside, it looked like, woo, security. But instead, she really felt exposed because most of her wealth was in commercial real estate partnerships and private investments. She told me, if something happens to me, my children will be negotiating with seasoned operators while they're grieving, and they don't really know a whole lot about this. So
Mhm.
her fear wasn't taxes, it was vulnerability. So again, we went back to the drawing board, really worked with our team, and we structured a survivorship life insurance policy within a trust. The trust was done by the attorney that would create immediate liquidity for her children, enough cash to cover real estate obligations, buy them some time to learn about these investments and hire advisors without a lot of pressure. And so months later, she said something I'll never forget. She said, I finally can sleep through the night. So this life insurance policy didn't change her balance sheet dramatically, but it changed her sense of control and just it allowed her to sleep at night. Isn't that great?
Absolutely. That sounds amazing, and you're right. I mean, no matter how you get there, I think it's important that, you get there and you can sleep at night and you can, take that stress off of you because we've also
Mhm.
mentioned in previous episodes, stress can take a huge toll on your body and your wellness and your health. So it's so
Yes.
important that sleep is number 1, right?
Yes, yes, and that's really why you add protection into your portfolio. So, yes, I'm so glad that we were able to help her like that.
Well, Jenna, let's talk about generosity now because,
Mhm,
many affluent women are incredibly philanthropic. Philan
mhm.
You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yes, yeah,
And
philanthropic, you bet.
yes, and giving and, charitable giving. So what are we kind of going with this?
Yes, yes. Well, I worked with a founder of a company who had pledged $15 million to fund scholarships for first generation college students, and she was proud of that commitment. But quietly, she did worry that her children would someday resent the size of that gift.
Mhm.
She told me, I don't want them to think I chose strangers over them. So
Oh.
again, we went back to the drawing board with our team. We worked closely with an estate planning attorney and we implemented a wealth replacement strategy. So she funded a charitable structure with appreciated assets, received substantial tax efficiency, and redirected a portion of the tax savings and excess liquidity into a life insurance trust. The death benefit then would pay out and effectively replace the philanthropic gift for her children. So when she explained the strategy to them, something beautiful happened. Instead of them resenting her giving this big gift, they expressed pride because now the gift felt intentional and not subtractive. And I think
Mhm.
we talked about on the past show just how your money, it's important for it to mean something. And it can be such a powerful tool if used wisely, right? And
Mhm.
imagine the difference that that gift is going to make in so many children's lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. So the insurance, it wasn't about money in the situation. It was truly about eliminating, kind of the silent misunderstandings and that's where the communication comes in.
Exactly. I was so glad that she sat down and talked to her children about this. And it really allowed that generous spirit, like she was still able to give that gift, have that generosity and inheritance coexist without them competing with each other, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a tough battle, You
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving pieces in that situation.
Yeah, I
Um
know. It was really neat that we were able to do both,
Yes,
right?
I love that, Jenna. Well, what strikes me most about, listening to these stories is that none of them really start with what's the rate of return. I mean, nothing starts with the numbers here. It kind of all seems to go along with emotions.
It really does. And when we're sitting with our clients and doing enhanced legacy planning, we start with questions that really make you think, like, will my children fight with the way that we
Mm.
have this set up? Will my life's work survive? Will my values outlive me? And is this a stewardship move? Will my family feel secure? And again, we talked about this last time with the way that I have this set up. Will the family still be getting together for holidays, or will there be a lot of animosity?
Mhm.
Because we still want to keep the family peace, right? So
Mhm.
at this level, life insurance really becomes an instrument of certainty and tax-free certainty in an otherwise uncertain emotional moment.
Mhm.
So when structured properly, often partnered with like irrevocable life insurance trusts, dynasty trusts, or generation skipping vehicles, which again, we all work with an attorney on, it can create tax-free liquidity without liquidation, like having to sell a bunch of properties or sell investments. It can create fairness without fragmentation for families, privacy without probate, and structure without rigidity.
Hmm.
But underneath all of it, it really, again, creates that calm and that peace of mind and the ability to sleep better at night.
Which sounds amazing.
Yes, yes.
I mean, and those are such great points, Jenna, and I'm so glad that you brought those up. It's just it creates ease for the listener, for the viewers, and, for the people that you've helped out. It really truly
Right,
seems that everything's aligned and you think about the entire plan, not just one piece of it.
right. Thank
So,
you.
I mean, if someone's listening and they've built pretty significant wealth, what would you want them to reflect on tonight about this podcast?
Yeah, I'd really like them to think broader about their legacy, not just how much am I worth and how much are my kids going to inherit, but thinking even deeper beyond that. What story will my wealth tell when I'm gone?
Mhm.
Will my children feel clarity or confusion? Will my giving feel empowering or divisive? Will my estate create stress at the worst possible moment or peace?
Mhm.
And so I think life insurance can be a very powerful strategy to use within enhanced legacy planning in some situations, like the stories that I told today. And this really is about protecting the emotional ecosystem of the family.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I really like those questions. And I want to kind of dive deeper a little bit, Jenna, because, what story will my wealth tell when I'm gone? It aligns perfectly with what story do you want it to tell, right? I mean,
Right?
you're talking about you at the core of all these questions. So
Yes.
trying to have your money tell the story and tell the vision and what you want it to do at the end of the day. And so,
Yes.
Jenna, what you said was just beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, wealth is arithmetic. Legacy is emotional architecture. And when structured thoughtfully, I really believe you can protect both.
Mhm.
And so it's just so important to do this planning. And again, I do think that if you can get over the word life insurance, what it can do for your family tax free is pretty powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many avenues that you can go down with life insurance too. I mean, we're
Yep.
talking about kind of the different stories here and the ways that people, allocated their money differently, but there's so many
Right.
things that you can do while you're alive for somebody as well.
Right. Right.
And,
Absolutely.
there's so many I know some things that you can do for your children while they're, becoming older and they're gonna buy their first
Yeah.
house or their
Right.
college or whatever it is.
Yep.
So Jenna, if any of our listeners are interested in seeing, if life insurance could be a strategy to enhance their legacy, how would they get a hold of you to schedule a consultation, Jenna?
Yeah, they could go out to our website, which is beaconwealthadvisory.com, and request a consultation out there, and we could give you a call back. Or you can give our office a call directly at 1-800-994-8993. Again, that's 1-800-994-8993, and we'd be happy to get a consultation scheduled.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jenna, and thank you, listeners and viewers. And that does it for this episode of Retirement Today with our host, Jenna Cairns.